Hi everybody, welcome. We're going to be doing a 40-minute workout today. It is Pilates Reformer inspired. Today you're going to need a mat if you've got one and 2 hand weights. If you don't have hand weights, you can use bottles of water or soup cans. And then you're going to need either 2 gliders or you can use 2 towels as an alternative. So we're going to get going with our center core warm up. You're going to start in a forearm plank. So go ahead and bring your forearms down onto your mat, legs out straight behind you, and start to squeeze through those abs, keeping your belly button in and down. Squeeze your glutes together, legs nice and straight. If you do need to modify, you can bring it down onto your knees. Otherwise, just start to connect to your breath here. Nice, easy inhale and exhale. We have about 10 more seconds to go here, and then we're gonna pop up onto those gliders or towels, placing them beneath your feet in 3, 2, and 1. Go ahead and grab those towels or gliders, placing them underneath your feet, forearms back down on your mat. Squeeze strong through those abs, and then from here start to pike your hips up towards the ceiling and then lower back down into your plank position. If this is a little too much for you, you can bring it up onto outstretched arms, bringing your hands directly below your shoulders. You want to keep a nice flat back, so you want to maintain that neutral spine, squeezing strong from your abs to lift your hips up. And then slowly extend out. Try and maintain your shoulders above your wrists best you can, and try and maintain that nice long spine all the way from the tailbone up and out through the crown of your head. Every time you extend out, you want to think about finding that strong plank position, and then as you pike up, squeezing through your abs, trying not to let those legs bend at your knees, and trying not to let yourself completely round out through your spine. You have less than 10 seconds to go here. And then we're going to bring it up, starting with our legs in 3, 2, and 1. Go ahead and draw those knees in, grabbing your weights or your soup cans or your bottles of water, whatever you're using. We're going to start with our right leg as the working leg. So you want to grab one of those gliders. You're going to bring it down beneath your left foot. Your right foot can stay on the mat or on the floor, whatever's comfortable for you. And then from here, we're going to bring it down into a side lunge to begin with. So glue those elbows in nice and tight beside your ribs. Extend your left leg out as you extend your arms back behind you, and then press strong through your heel to stand up. Extending your arms all the way out, and then slowly pressing back up to standing. Try and keep it super light through your tippy toes. So you want to focus on pressing through your heel and the outside edge of your foot on the right. And try and let it be a super slow drop down. You can extend your arms, bringing this into a tricep kickback. If that's too much to add the arms to the legs, no big deal. You can keep those hands at prayer and just focus on the lunge. You want to think about sitting your butt down and back in that working side leg. So you're really keeping your knee in line with your ankle, extending your butt back behind you. You can tilt your torso forward so that you maintain that position of your knee back behind your toes. Almost there. We're going to hold it down low. On your next extension, extend your left leg all the way out. Holding low here, start to pulse your hips up an inch and back down to that lowest position. Up and then back down. Still trying to maintain that strong connection to your upper outer glute. Keeping it super light through that left foot best you can, and try and keep those arms extended back behind you. If it's too much to hold that isometric hold, you can always bring your hands to prayer. Last couple reps here, and then we're gonna hold it low in 3, 2, and 1. Hold it low. Now little pulse in your arms, extending and then bending from your elbow. You're still maintaining your low squat position in that right side. So try not to let your booty float up. If you do start to gradually float up, you can always just reset, stand up, and then hold it all the way back down at your lowest position. You have less than 10 seconds to go here, and then we're going to transition into a front lunge in 3, 2, and 1. Go ahead and stand it all the way up. Your right foot can come down onto the floor. You still have your glider beneath your left leg, and then bring it down into your front lunge as you bicep curl. bringing your hands in towards your shoulders as you dip down, and then on your exhale, pressing up, coming up into a standing position. Bringing it down on your inhale, and then on your exhale, think about pressing through your heel on the outside edge of your foot. That keeps you connected to your posterior chain so that you're definitely working through the back side of that leg. Your quad is going to help you no matter what as you come into any sort of lunge or squat. So try and focus on using the back side of that leg as you press up. Try and stay connected to your breath. Exhale as you reach up. Inhale as you extend your rear foot back behind you. If it's too much to add the arms, no big deal, just keep them at prayer. Last couple of reps here, stay connected to the length through your body. So crown of your head is reaching up and away from your tailbone, but you still have a little bit of a squeeze through your center abs, belly button in and down. You should still be able to breathe easy even as you connect to those abs. We're gonna hold it low on this next one. Hold it all the way down low. Bring those hands up into that squeeze of your biceps, and then start to pulse your hips up an inch and down an inch. You still want to maintain your knee directly above your ankle or just in front of it. You have a little window of where that knee can live in space, but you don't want it floating out in front of your toes, and you don't want it coming back behind your heel. Last couple reps here, and then we'll hold it low in 3, 2, and 1. Hold it all the way down low. Now pulse through those arms, little bicep curl, just press and press. If you want to make it more challenging, you can bring those elbows out to shoulder height and then pulse through those arms. Bringing those hands in. Be mindful that your hips stay relatively squared off to the front of the room in front of you, whatever you're looking at, whether it's a mirror or a wall or a window. Try and keep that rear leg pressing forward just a little bit so your hips stay level. Last couple reps here, less than 10 seconds to go. And then we'll bring it down onto our hands and knees in 4, 3, 2, and 1. Go ahead and pull it in. You're gonna bring it down onto your hands and knees. We're gonna work through that backside and outer glute. You wanna bring your hands down onto the ground so that they're directly below your shoulders. Your left knee is directly below your left hip, and you're squeezing your weight into the crook in your knee. If you can't get that soup can in there, no big deal. You're just gonna use body weight. And then start to press that knee up and back behind you, and then lower back down without letting it completely rest on the ground. You wanna think about squeezing through your glute and your hamstring as you reach up, and then bring your knee back below. So as you squeeze that weight or water bottle into the crook of your knee, that's what's going to keep your hamstring active, and it's the squeeze of your glute that gets your knee up above hip height. Last couple reps here, and then you're going to hold it up high in 3, 2, and 1. Hold it high. Now squeeze from your glute to get that little pulse at the top. You don't want it to feel like you're crunching through your low back. So if at any point it starts to feel like your low back is crunching, re-engage through your abs, think belly button in and down, and focus on where the movement comes from. It happens from your glute. You have about 10 seconds to go here, and then we're going to bring it down onto our left forearm, opening up to face the right side. Last 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bring it down onto your forearm, opening up to face this side. Reach your top arm up if you can, and then just keep that lift and lower going so you're squeezing through that outer glute. You still want to try and maintain length from the crown of your head out through your tailbone, from your hip out through your knee. So try not to let that knee come forward in the working leg. And you're trying not to collapse down into your hip joint on the left. You want to think about using your obliques to help hold you up and away from the ground. Top arm reaches up, creating width. You're going to hold this knee up high in 3, 2, and 1. Hold it up high. Now squeeze back behind you. So once again, we're getting into that glute, pressing your knee back and back. If it starts to feel like your low back is doing the work, re-engage through that center, and then just think about squeezing your butt cheek on top here. If it's too much to keep that arm reaching up, you can always rest it down in front of you. Otherwise, try and keep that extra balance work going. You have less than 10 seconds to go, and then we're going to be done with this leg. You'll set this weight down in 3, 2, and 1. All right, y'all, we're going to move into our obliques now. So you're going to grab your gliders, you're gonna bring them down beside your mat so that you can create a plank position with your toes on your gliders. Your hands are down on the mat or the floor in front of you. You're gonna start in a strong plank position, extending your legs back behind you. Cross your left foot in front of the right so that you're creating a cross in those legs, squeezing strong through those abs still, shoulders are parallel to the ground, and then start to pike your hips up towards the ceiling. Exhale as you lift, inhale as you extend. Keeping it super slow as you pike your hips up and as you extend out long. It doesn't have to be a huge movement. You can just bring your hips up a couple inches and then extend. So if your range of motion is right here, that is totally fine. You want to focus on where the movement comes from rather than the height. So range of motion comes second after you focus on activating through those obliques beneath you. You're also keeping your center abs nice and tight. So even though we're working our obliques, you can't work your obliques without also working your center abs. So you might as well keep some focus in there to help yourself out. If you need to modify, you can always come down onto your knees, stacking your right knee on top of the left, and then go for that side crunch. Almost there, everybody. You have less than 10 seconds to go. Now we're gonna bring it down into a side plank with your left forearm down onto the ground in 3, 2, and 1. Extend all the way out through those legs. Left forearm comes down, right arm reaches up towards the ceiling. If you can, stack your top foot on top of the bottom one. If you need a little more support, you can always come down onto your knees. And then go ahead and start to thread the needle. Top arm comes down and under, and then reaches up towards the ceiling. So you want to keep your obliques squeezing to lift your side body up towards the ceiling. Even as you twist coming into this rotation, you still want to keep your hips relatively parallel to whatever is in front of you, that wall, mirror, window, whatever. You're going to bring it back down into your double forearm plank in 3, 2, and 1. Go ahead and bring both of those forearms down, and then start to dip your hips down to the left and then back to center. Try and keep it super slow as you dip down to the side. Every time you hit center, remember you're finding a strong plank position. So you're not just letting your hips pike up towards the ceiling, you're not letting those hips droop down. You want to keep it nice and level, slowly resisting gravity to the side and then bringing it back to center. Almost there, team. You have a couple more reps to go in 3, 2, and 1. Awesome. At least I assume you're doing awesome. All right, you're gonna bring this into an oblique sweep next. So with your hands and your knees on the mat, find a quadruped position, hands directly below your shoulders, knees directly below your hips. Squeeze strong through that center, and then extend your left leg out to the side, and then sweep your foot up and back behind you. Sweeping down to the side, and then up and back behind you. I need to make a little more room for myself. Squeeze your foot up and back, and then extend down to the side. If you want to make this more challenging, you can always keep your foot up at hip height, swing directly out to the side, and then back behind you. Main thing is you want to watch to make sure that your opposite right hip doesn't swing out to the side as you reach. So that doesn't do anything. You want to keep your hips and your shoulders aligned to one another, and then you sweep out to the side and then squeeze back to center. Sweep out to the side. Try and think about your weight pressing towards the foot that's reaching. Last couple reps here, and then you're going to hold your foot up and back behind you in 3, 2, and 1. Hold it up and back, and then tuck your rear right toes under, pop up and off of your knee, finding your beast position, and then start to pulse your leg up towards the ceiling and then back down. Try and keep it super concentrated so you're not just letting your legs swing up and down. You want to try and keep the focus on where the movement comes from, squeezing from your glute, not letting your low back completely take over. Your right knee stays just a couple inches off the ground. If that hip starts to reach up towards the ceiling and your right leg extends, bring your knee back down. Less than 10, and then you're done with this move. We'll bring it into our kneeling side crunch in 4, 3, 2, and 1. Go ahead and grab those weights, bringing it up into a kneeling position. You're going to extend your left leg out to the side. Right knee stays on the ground. You can start by crossing your arms over your chest and keeping it super light through that left foot. Start to crunch down to the side and then squeeze back up to that straight kneeling position. You want to think about both sides of your obliques working. We can't use one side without using the other side. So both sides are working, but try and focus on that side crunch on your left side as you reach up. You want to think about extending long through your tippy toes on that left side. Stay connected to your breath on your exhale, coming up. If you need to make it a little more challenging, you can always reach your arms up towards the ceiling and then bring it down into that side crunch. It can be a little more challenging when you have to balance that weight up and above your body. Almost there, keep it nice and slow. Thinking about that long line from your tippy toes through your hips, out through the crown of your head. We're gonna hold it long and pulse in 3, 2, and 1. Hold it long, little pulse up an inch and down an inch. Just a couple of reps here. And then we're gonna separate those weights again, putting one in each hand in 4, 3, 2, and 1. Separate your weights. You can cross your arms over your chest, twist down to face the ground, little pulse, and then twist up to face your reflection, or twist up to face the side to your left, and little pulse. Force of habit. I'm used to teaching everybody looking at a mirror. And then twist down, little pulse, and twist up, little pulse. If you want to make it a little more challenging, you can reach those arms away from your body. Twist up, reach those arms away from your body. As you move weight away from your center, makes it a little more challenging for your center core. But you want to try and keep those hips relatively parallel to whatever is in front of you. Try not to let your top hip swing out wherever it wants to go. Almost there, everybody. You have about 10 seconds to go. And then we're done with obliques. You have 3, 2, and 1. Nice work, done with that side oblique. All right, up next, we're gonna move it into arms. So you're gonna wanna grab those weights or soup cans, whatever you got. We're gonna start with a bicep curl. So with your feet about hip distance apart, we're gonna add a little bit of a squat stance. So you can bend your knees, doesn't have to be a super deep squat. And then reach your arms out in front of you, start to bicep curl, hands in towards your shoulders, and then extend. So kind of like what we were doing with that side lunge. Now think about keeping those elbows up nice and high. If you need to bring them down so that your elbows are beside your ribs, totally fine to modify. If you're ready to take it up a level on this next extension, put both of those weights in one hand, still keeping the opposite hand reaching out in front. Start to bicep curl in and then extend. And extend. Think about your breath helping you out. So you're exhaling as you bring your hand in towards your shoulder, and you're inhaling as you reach out. Try and keep those shoulders down and back, squeezing your shoulder blades back and down just a little bit. Doesn't have to be a huge squeeze, but just mindful that you're staying open in your chest. You're gonna switch hands in 3, 2, and 1. Go ahead and put both those weights on the opposite side. Now that other hand that was working on the first side feels super light, right? Keeping your elbows up at shoulder height without shrugging your shoulders up towards your ears. So you don't want to let your traps, your upper traps take over. You wanna think about your lower traps and mid traps working to keep those shoulders down and back. Almost there, everybody. Keeping that center core nice and tight. We're gonna shake it out in 3, 2, and 1. Go ahead and separate those weights. Shake it out. Bring it into our tricep kickback. Heels are down on the ground. Outside edges of the feet pressing down into the ground. Squeeze strong through those abs. Hinge from your hips. Elbows in beside your ribs. Extend your arms up and back, and then bend. Extend, and then bend. Try and keep it nice and slow. And especially as you bring those elbows to a bent position, it doesn't have to be a full 90-degree bend. It can be a small range of motion. It's gonna help keep your tricep muscle fibers engaged for longer, so it'll be more challenging. If you're ready, put both of those weights into just one hand. Reach both of those arms up and back. Just let one side do the work. Keeping that opposite arm reaching up and back behind you. Be mindful that your shoulders and your hips are still parallel to the ground, so you're not letting that working side shoulder droop down. You're gonna switch sides in 3, 2, and 1. Go ahead and switch sides. Elbows in tight, reach. Keeping the non-working side arm reaching up and back behind you to get that extra little work to finish off strong here. Keep it slow as you press up and back. Try and get that extra reach 1 inch higher with every rep. Almost there. Last 3, 2, and separate those weights. Stay in your squat position, elbows locked in. Hold both of your arms up and back. Go for a little pulse. Just reaching the back sides of your forearms up towards the ceiling, and then resist. Awesome work, everybody. You're gonna shake it out in 3, 2, and 1. Go ahead and shake it out. We're gonna bring it into a fly, hinging from your hips. Your torso comes forward. You wanna bring your torso as parallel to the ground as you can while still keeping your abs engaged and feeling like you are in control of the movement. And then start to fly your arms out to the side. You wanna keep that little bend going through your elbows the entire time. So your elbow stays at the same angle. It's just a squeeze of your shoulder blades back in together. If you want to make this more challenging, reach both of those arms up and out, hold one to the side, and then just work one arm at a time in that eccentric contraction. So you're maintaining that concentric movement up at the top, holding it steady at center, reach up, and then back to center, reach up, and then back to center. Last couple reps here, and then we'll hold these arms up and out for a little pulse to finish in 3, 2, and 1. Reach both of those arms up and back. Little pulse, pulse, pulse. Less than 10 seconds to go. Then we'll lie down on our belly, bringing it into a little bit of core to finish in 3, 2, and 1. Go ahead and shake it out. Lying down on your belly. Extend your body out long. Reach your arms out to the side. Just keeping a little bit of a squeeze of your abs. So you want to think about your belly button coming in towards your spine just a little bit. It's not like you're lifting your belly up and off of the ground. You're just engaging through your center abs. That's going to keep your back engaged. So your entire transverse abdominis is working for you. Think about a gentle lift of your feet up and off of the ground, and then lift your arms up and off of the ground. Squeeze your hands beside your hips, and then sweep them out to that uppercase T position again. Squeezing and then extending. Once you're feeling good here, start to add a little flutter kick of those legs, kicking the back side of your leg up towards the ceiling, one side at a time. We're gonna hold our arms back beside our hips, just flutter kick in 3, 2, and 1. Hold those arms up and back. Try not to let those weights or hands reach down to the ground, keeping that squeeze going of your shoulder blades down and back. Last 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Awesome. Done with your arms. Bring those gliders down or those towels down on the ground. Place your toes on top of the gliders. Your forearms come down onto the ground, extending out strong into that plank position. And then you're going to twist so that your right leg comes in front of the left. And then on your exhale, take your hips up towards the ceiling and then lower back down. Once again, if you need that extra support, if it's too much to stay down on your forearms, if you press up onto outstretched arms, makes it a little more supported. As you pike up, you want to think about keeping your hips rotated. So your top hip is reaching up towards the ceiling, and your bottom hip is looking down towards the ground. Remember, it doesn't have to be a huge range of motion. Just go as far as you feel like you are still in control of the movement. Stay connected to that breath. Exhale as you reach up. Inhale as you extend. Last couple reps here, and then we're gonna bring it down into our side plank. Forearm down onto the ground in less than 10 seconds. See if you can make it a super slow last couple reps. Holding out in 4, 3, 2, and 1. Extend all the way out. Bring that right forearm down onto the ground. Reach your left arm up towards the ceiling. And then if you went for that extra reach of your arm underneath, and then going for that reach up, you can add the thread of your needle. Otherwise, you can just stay steady at center here. If you do need more support, you can come down onto your knees. You have less than 10 seconds to go, and then we're gonna find our double forearm plank in 3, 2, and 1. Go ahead and bring both those forearms down onto the ground. Extend your torso out long, squeezing strong through those abs. Shoulders stay directly above your elbows, and then start to dip your hips just down to the right and back to center. Just down to the right and back to center. If you need to bring it down onto your knees, you can, but see if you can stay steady up on those toes, even if it means fewer reps. See if you can maintain that extra challenge. You have less than 10 seconds to go. Then we're gonna bring it up into our quadruped in 3, 2, and 1. Go ahead and bring those hands down and your knees down on your mat. You'll extend your left leg, or your right leg, excuse me, out to the side, and then squeeze up and back, up and back behind you without kicking any furniture. Extending out to the side, and then reaching up and back behind you. The perils of being in a space that I don't know too well. On your exhale, squeezing up and back. On your inhale, reaching to the side. Again, if you want to make it more challenging, try keeping that foot up, swing it directly out to the side, and then back behind you. Again, keeping those abs nice and tight, belly button in and down, shoulders relax away from your ears. And if it feels like your low back starts to overarch at any point, take a pause, re-engage through your six pack. That'll help hold your neutral low spine, and then bring it into your next rep. Almost there, team. We're gonna hold this foot up and back in 4, 3, 2, and 1. Hold it up and back. You can tuck your rear toes underneath, popping up and off of your knee on the left, and then start to go for that pulse in your right leg. If it's too much to do both of these, not a big deal. You can always just hold in your beast, or you can bring it down onto your knee and just pulse through that single leg. Otherwise, see if you can put both together. We're almost there. You have less than 10 seconds to go, and then you're grabbing those weights in 3, 2, and 1. Go ahead and grab those weights. And then crossing your arms over your chest, you're gonna reach that right leg out to the side, finding your balance on your knee, extended through that torso, and then just side crunch down to the side, and then back up to center. Keeping it super slow. Think about your breath helping you out. And again, if you made it more challenging on the first side, you can take both of those weights, put them in your top side arm, and then bring it down into your side crunch. Reconnecting to your exhale as you lift, inhale as you reach. You want to pretend that your body is in between 2 panes of glass, one directly in front of you and one back behind you, so you're not letting your shoulders come forward, not letting your body round out. You want to maintain that length from your tippy toe up and out through the crown of your head. On your next extension, hold it long, little pulses, up an inch and down an inch, up an inch and down an inch. Almost there. We're going to separate those weights in 3, 2, and 1. Separate your weights, and then twist up, little crunch at the top, twist down, little crunch at the bottom. Again, if you went for that extra reach of your hands away from your body, you can go for that reach, and then twist, reach, and then twist. Go with whatever feels more challenging for you. If it feels like you just become kind of a big mess as you rotate to one side and add the reach, focus on that strong center form. Doesn't have to be crazy with every rep. Almost there, everybody. You have less than 10 seconds to go, and then we're done with this side of obliques. Last 4, 3, 2, and 1. Nice. All right, y'all, we're going to move it into our opposite side leg. So you're going to need one of your gliders or towels down on the ground. You're going to place your left side leg on the floor or the mat this time, weights in hand. We're going to start with our side lunge, so keep it nice and light through your tippy toes on that right side, and then bring it down into your side lunge, extending your leg out to the side as you reach your arms out wide to the sides. So you're going for that fly. If it's too distracting or you're feeling a little OCD about it, you can always bring it back into that tricep kickback to even it out from the first side. Otherwise, see if you can give your arms a different movement on this side. Keeping it super slow as you extend down, light through those tippy toes on the right, and then super slow press back up. Again, checking in with where that knee is at on your working side leg. And keep it back behind your toes, but not so far back that it comes back behind your heel. So if you tilt your torso forward, hinging from your hips, shoot your booty back behind you like you're trying to sit into a couch that's really deep and doesn't have enough accent cushions. You can use that as a guide. You're gonna hold it low in 3, 2, and 1. Hold it wide, finding that isometric hold. Go for the little pulse in your arms. If it's too much to find that pulse, you bring your hands to prayer. Focus on that low squat position in your working side leg. If you just needed a little break and then you can bring it back into that pulse, by all means go for it. You're still strong in those abs. Shoulder blades are down and back. And think about your shoulder blades squeezing together 1 little inch at a time. We're gonna bring it into the pulse in the hips in 3, 2, and 1. If you need to bring those hands to prayer, totally fine. Take a breather for your arms, for your shoulders, and then if you can, bring it right back out into that wide hold. Think about those upper arms staying strong, breathe into it. If you start to float up higher and higher with each one of these pulses, shake it out, bring it back down low again, and then go for that next pulse. You have less than 10 seconds to go, and then we're gonna bring it into our front lunge in 4, 3, 2, and 1. All right, stepping that foot forward onto the ground, still same foot on your glider. This time we're gonna bring it into a serve of the platter. As you bring it down into your lunge, reaching those arms out in front, and then tuck your elbows in beside your ribs, extending all the way out, and then tuck those elbows in beside your ribs. On your inhale, pitch your torso forward. On your exhale, come back up. Try and keep those hips parallel, so rather than letting that rear hip shoot back behind you, take it slow. Focus on your center first. That's where all movement originates, is in your core. So really think about stronging your abs. You should still be able to breathe. So when you engage your abs, it doesn't mean that you're holding your breath. It doesn't mean that you're sucking your belly button in towards your spine. You just want to keep your center turned on. It's what protects your back. You're gonna hold it all the way down low in 5, 4, 3, 2, and hold it low. Go for that little lift, up an inch and down an inch, up an inch and down an inch. If it's too much, find a little stability, focus on depth in that working side leg, and then when you're ready, bring it back into those pulses. Almost there, team. We're gonna bring it into the pulse in our leg, lifting those hips, up an inch and down an inch in 4, 3, 2, and 1. If you can keep the reach of your arms, by all means go for it. If you need support, bring it back to prayer. And then when you're ready, bring those arms out again. Again, focusing on where the movement comes from. So you're sinking deep through your heel and the outside edge of your foot. Your arch is lifted. Less than 10. And we'll bring it down onto our hands and knees in 3, 2, and 1. All right. Get your towels and bring it down onto your hands and knees. You're going to bring your weight into the crook of your left knee. Find your tabletop back position. Squeezing that weight in tight. Start to lift and lower. Exhale as you lift. Inhale as you resist down. Again, focus on where your strength comes from in your center, and then focus on the squeeze from your glute. Hamstring is actively pulling your heel in towards your booty. Helps keep that weight in place as well. Try and keep those shoulder blades relaxed down and away from your ears. We're gonna hold this foot up high in 3, 2, and 1. Hold it up, tiny little pulses at the top. You want to think about where the movement comes from. So it's not your low back crunching in, it's the squeeze of your glute, crunching your knee up towards the ceiling. It's an isometric hold through that hamstring as you pull that heel towards your booty. Try and stay steady in your breath. You're going to bring it down onto your right forearm, opening up to face the side in 4, 3, 2, and 1. Keep that knee lifted up high. Turn to face the front, reaching your left arm up towards the ceiling, and then go for the lift and lower. Top shoulder blade is rolling down and back. Your top hip is rolling down and back, so you want to stay open through your pelvis. It's like you're doing a pelvic opener as well as an outer glute and hamstring strengthener. You're resisting gravity as your knee comes back just to hip height. Try not to let it collapse down. You're gonna hold this knee up high, pulse back behind you in 4, 3, 2, and 1. Hold it up high, and little pulses like you're kicking your heel back. Again, if it feels like your low back is crunching, re-engage through those abs. Think ribs towards your hips in front of you. Stay steady, and then go for that little pulse. Your obliques beneath you are active. If you need to bring that top hand down to the ground for a little bit of support, totally fine to do so. Think about your head shooting straight out from the rest of your spine best you can. Try not to just let it collapse down towards the ground. Last 4, 3, 2, and 1. Awesome work. All right, we have one more leg move. This is going to use both of your legs, so don't worry about it being uneven side to side. Place your gliders beneath your feet. You want to make sure that your heels are connected to the gliders, and then lie down on your back. So you're resting your entire torso and head on the ground, and then with your feet directly below your knees to begin with, bridge your hips up towards the ceiling, squeezing strong through those glutes. Keep that diagonal line going through your body, and then extend your legs out, and then hamstring curls, heels in below your knees. Extend your legs out, hamstring curl, heels in below your knees. If it's too much to do this, totally fine to work one leg at a time. So you can extend one leg out, extend the other leg out, and then squeeze in and squeeze in. Or if you can go for the full extension through both those legs, but then you need to squeeze one leg in and then the other, totally fine to do that. So if you start to fatigue, no big deal. If you need to rest your hips down, take a break, and then press those hips back up, go for your next rep, you have options. So you're just trying to focus on form primarily. Try and maintain that strong center. Belly button is still reaching in, even though you're not necessarily using your abs as the primary worker. They do need to support your entire center to help keep your torso long and your spine protected. Awesome work, everybody. Last couple reps here. Last 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Pull those heels in, rest your booty down, and you are done with your leg on this side. We're going to finish. All right, we're going to finish off doing some center core. So go ahead and grab those weights. We're going to bring it into a weighted crunch. I'm going to turn to my side so that it's obvious to you what we're doing. Lie down on your mat so you feel supported beneath your low back. You want your low back pressing down into the ground the entire time. So think about your belly button drilling down into the ground. Reach your hands up above your shoulders, either with your weights or not, and then bring your knees to 90 so your feet are hovering at knee height. And then from here, extending out into a crunch, reach those arms beside your hips, and then bring it back to that center upside down quadruped position. Every time you crunch, you want to think about the movement happening from your abs first. So if you need help getting there, think about your shoulder blades lifting. Your head and neck follow as one complete unit. So you don't want to just crunch your chin towards your chest. You want to keep your neck open because you have to breathe, right? Keep those inner thighs pressing in towards one another. If you need support, reach just one leg out at a time, or you can always set the weights down. Or you can bring your hands behind your head, make it a regular old crunch, just focusing on those abs. But keep it slow as you bring it into this movement. All right, we're gonna hold everything out long, going for our hundreds in 3, 2, and 1. Hold it out long, pulse those arms. You're still drilling that belly button down into the ground. Try and stay relatively relaxed through your neck, keeping your gaze nice and soft, face is soft. We'll bring it back to that tabletop back position in 3, 2, and 1. You can rest for a second, head, neck, and shoulders relax, and then bring it into your next rep on your next exhale. We're gonna bring it into a bicycle crunch. So you're gonna hold your hands beside your hips all the way out long, and then you're just gonna bicycle one knee in and then the other. Extending out long and holding on this next rep. Reach everything out long, and then reach one knee in towards opposite shoulder. One knee in towards opposite shoulder, just switching side to side. If it's too much to hover your arms and your weights out long, go ahead and bring your hands behind your head for a little more support. You want to think about this crunch happening from your shoulder towards your knee, yes, but remember the crunch actually happens in your abs. So it's your rib towards your hip that's really doing the work. Rib towards hip, rib towards hip. Last couple, you have 3, 2, and 1. Go ahead and relax. We're going to flip over, bringing it into our final plank hold of your workout today. So go ahead and bring your forearms down onto the ground. Extend those legs out long, just like you started out today. Squeeze that belly button in and down. Keep it light in those fingertips. If you can, turn your palms to open up towards the ceiling. Squeeze those glutes together, extending your body into one strong plank. Stay steady in your breath. You have about 10 seconds to go here. Think about all of the strength and endurance that you've used today, how you get to carry that with you for the rest of the day in 3, 2, and 1. Awesome work, everybody. At least I hope it was awesome work. Hope you weren't just sitting there watching, not doing anything. If you have any questions for me, be sure to comment and I will get back to you best I can. Have an awesome rest of your day and I'll see y'all soon. All right, team, we're going to move it into our legs. If you guys need to move, you can go. I'll start again. Yeah. I'll just edit this part out. Hello, guys.